But here's the story. Perhaps one of the biggest enemies of Judaism was Zionism. The reason it was such a big enemy because it really presented a how do you say a meaningful, actual, practical alternative to believing in God. And what is that? The land of Israel. Now we have the land of Israel. We have our own country, and we're going to be the bosses, just like we finished learning in the Sikha. Right? You can see. Look what the Torah was given 3,000 whatever years ago, 3,000 years ago. Look what it's brought us to. Right? The Jews are scattered all around. Obviously, God has left us, and these religious people, they're just in their little groups, whatever it is. They're not living real lives. We have to live a real life and go and conquer the land and take it. Okay, so among the Zionists, there were some very, very talented Jews, and there were also Jews that had been religious, that they were very knowledgeable in Torah. Perhaps one of the most outstanding ones was a person called Asher Ginsburg. His pen name was Echad Ha'am. Echad Ha'am. He was like sort of the spiritual, what do you want to call the philosophical aspect of, what is a Jew and how it's the essence of being a Jew is to be a Zionist in the land of Israel and forget about Torah and forget about commandments and forget about this. He had a lot of followers. He somehow or other was in the family of Chabad. And they wanted him to meet together with the Rebbe Rashab. The Rebbe Rashab was Rabbi Shalom Dovber. And he was there when Zionism, the Congress in Basel and all this, he was there right in the, he passed away in 1920. That was the fifth Rebbe of Chabad. Somehow or other they were relatives. And they wanted somehow or other to arrange a meeting between them. Now, one of the basic principles, how do you say, motivating forces that there was behind non-religious Judaism, what the intellectualism, what do they call it? Enlightened Jews, maskilim, was that the only reason that a Jew would want to be religious is because he doesn't know how wonderful and pleasurable and colorful this world is. Right? These religious Jews, they keep themselves away from music and from art and from plays and from opera and from, just having a good time, partying and this, from the colorful, wonderful world of the big dances and balls and whatever is pleasures and this. And they're stuck in their little black and white world looking at the Torah. So they don't know the world. But if they would know the world, how good the world is, how pleasant the world is, they would leave Judaism. Okay. On the other hand, what does Chassidic Chabad teach? Chassidic Chabad teaches that the main reason that people leave Judaism and they don't want everything is because they don't feel what God is. They don't feel God. It's from ignorance. They don't have a feeling of what God is, so they just leave Judaism. They don't recognize what God is. Okay, so anyway, they wanted to arrange a meeting between this Asher Ginsburg and the Rebbe Rashab. It took a long time. And then the Asher Ginsburg said, let him come and visit me. I have more Hasidim than he does, and I know Torah like he does. He was really a big genius. Finally, they arranged a meeting between them. And they spoke. What they spoke exactly is not recorded, but afterwards they asked each one of them what they thought about the other. So they asked the Rebbe, what do you think about this Asher Ginsburg? He said, he is a person that I can honestly say that he recognizes what God is and he has intention to rebel against him. Right? A person, that principle that we have in Chabad, that the only reason people are not religious because they don't recognize what God is, says, okay, but that doesn't take away a person's free will. Here we have a person like Yerovam ben Nevat. He knew the whole Torah, all the secrets, and he built 2 golden calves. Says, this fellow, Asher Ginsburg, Echad Ha'am, the Rebbe said, he's like that. He recognizes God and he intentionally rebels against him. And they asked this Asher Ginsburg, "No, you met with the Rebbe, yes. What do you have to say?" He said, "Listen, this is a person that I can honestly say that he recognizes, he knows what the world is. He knows what the pleasures of the world is. He knows everything about the world, how good the world is, how colorful the world is, and he intentionally rebels against it. He knows what the world is, and he intentionally rebels against the whole world, all the pleasures, all the how do you say, the bribery that the world can make a person crazy. He rebels against it. So in Hebrew, it's the Rebbe said about him, Makir et Ribono umakaven limrodbo. He knows what God is, and he intentionally rebels against it. And the Echad Ha'am said about the Rebbe, Makir olam hazeh, he knows what the world is, umakaven limrodbo, and he intentionally rebels against it. And so that's what we just finished learning, to transform the darkness into light, to find the new essence of your soul that can actually get pleasure from turning from bad and doing good. Now we'll do the Yom Yom.